When I was about 14 years old, I noticed that there were two constitutions in evidence, even though everyone persisted in talking about the Constitution as if there was only one. Those two commonly available constitutions are the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the United States. As recently as 2 years ago, I was able to go down to the local Barnes & Noble and pick up recent publications of both documents. So, it really shouldn't be any big news that there are multiple constitutions. Then, in my 20s, I heard from the local congressman during a dinner after a town hall meeting about a constitution robed in dust and laying in full view in one of the rooms at the Capitol building. This strange artifact was a constitution, but under a different name, the Constitution for the United States of America. Like so many other bits and pieces I ran across, I flagged that for further reference. But it wasn't until 25 years after that Bill Benson's research into the lack of ratification for the 16th Amendment got me motivated to start searching for documents that should be there and aren't. By then, groups of people all over the country who had been inspired by Bill's pioneering work were digging, too. The search for the missing Constitution was part of that effort, and it bore fruit. We found 2 locations that had printed copies of the 1787 Federal Constitution, and we made photographic copies and did our due diligence. A couple years later, we were contacted by a British lord who, as luck would have it, was sympathetic to our efforts and who had found a cache of American founding documents in his library, original copies of everything from the Declaration of Independence to the final treaties of Westminster in the 1790s. Time went on, and the efforts to hide our history increased. Both of the archives where we'd found the printed copies of the Constitution for the United States of America were closed to the public. Then, for a period of a couple years, the Sam Houston Library in Texas made a copy of it available, but then that was shut down, too. If you inquire today, they will say they don't have any such document, and what are you talking about? Moving the cheese is an established art form for the rats that be, beginning with the sack of the Library of Alexandria, and more recently reflected by British attempts to burn our early records during the War of 1812. We should not be surprised that the copy robed in dust also disappeared from the Capitol building over the winter recess 1999 to 2000. Still, I and at least hundreds of other Americans had obtained copies of this third Constitution, and I was content that despite all efforts to the contrary, the truth was preserved. When the informer died and bequeathed his entire library to the cause, we were awestruck on one hand and overwhelmed on the other, and created our own archive to protect all these rescued documents for posterity. Obviously, Alaska does not present a suitable climate nor accessibility for such an archive, so the decision was made for me to move my documents to a new location in the lower 48 and to be combined with the informer's materials and many, many other contributions from others, sorted, scanned, and organized for ready reference by volunteer librarians. My copy of the Constitution for the United States of America was sent away for archiving and is still in the slush pile, so I didn't have it in my hot little hands, but I certainly knew about it, had read it, and held a copy in my hands when I made the, apparently, stunning announcement that there are in fact, three constitutions, and that they are 3 separate contracts of our actual government with 3 separate federal subcontractors, the defunct and thus far never reconstructed Confederation, the British Territorial, Commonwealth, Government, and the Municipal, Holy Roman government. Now, if you grew up thinking that there was only one constitution, the Constitution, and someone proved to you that there were two, as I did, and told you that there were in fact three, as I did, wouldn't you be shaken enough to look around and pay attention, just on the basis of seeing both the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the United States of America on display? I would, but no, certain others ignored the trail of evidence in my favor and attacked me and did everything they possibly could to discredit me and my claim that there are three constitutions. I was derided by the flag officers and dismissed as a liar by the liars, and generally took a lot of rotten eggs over not being able to give them a photocopy of the Constitution for the United States of America, and here it is. http://www.paulstrummer.net/2020/04/the-constitution-for-united-states-of.html. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, all of you, who had copies handy and who have sent copies since you heard there was a need. We have struggled for many years to get this situation documented and cut down to size, so that people could grasp it. The fraud has gone on so long and there are so many aspects to it, that it seemed impossible to do, but just recently, we think we succeeded in cranking it all down to 6 pages. This was intended as a quick start for veterans, but it's really a guide to any American who cares about their own safety and their country and the rest of the world, too, which has suffered because of the same evils. The quick start is published and available on my website, www.annavonwrites.com, and also www.theamericanstatesassembly.com, and if you are receiving this via email should also be attached. See 1787 Constitution, see 1789 Constitution.